Hey, this is Hugh, and today I wanted to talk about how the Sanremo YOU is going to fit into our future direction of training centers here at On a Coffee. Now, at the moment, we are setting up new training centers. We're going to be opening these facilities around mid-year, and we're designing everything to give a more flexible and modular setup. So the YOU, with its flexibility, we can run it off a tank, or we can plumb it into mains. So we can choose the application that we need. Now we're going to have modular benches that we can roll around, and we're going to have different power points around the room in specific locations so we can set up trainings with different structures for different numbers of students and with different focuses. So as an example, I've got this machine set up at a flat 9 bar pressure, like a lot of normal commercial machines would be set up. So this allows us to do these really basic barista trainings, which is more focused on barista technique. But due to the flexibility of the paddle, we can also go into more advanced trainings where we explore different pressures, different profiles, extractions, and tasting. So today I'll be running a session with baristas on the different bar pressure setups and how that affects taste and extraction. So we can run through that together. So at Honor, we choose to roast our coffees just enough to develop sweetness and texture, but without covering up variety and terroir. And then we push that coffee in extraction with these higher pressures to get as much of that good stuff out and round out the coffee. So in this machine, we've got a new generation volumetric pump, which gives us the flexibility with the paddle to change pressures from shot to shot. Now I'm going to extract 4 coffees, 7 bar, 8 bar, 9 bar, and 10 bar. We're going to taste them side by side to understand the effect of pressure on extraction with our coffee. So we will then start applying different pre-infusions to give a clear picture on how pressure affects our coffee, all on this beautiful little machine. I'll be using the paddle. I'm going to push it to 7 bar. I've got my 7 bar extraction. Now I'm going to go and do our 8 bar. All right, so paddle again. I'm aiming for 8 bar as the paddle set point. All right. All right, so third shot, we're now going to do 9 bar. This one's real easy. Manual pour, and we'll get that normal 9 bar pressure. All right. All right, so back to the 10 bar on the paddle. So here now I have 7 bar, 8 bar, 9 bar, 10 bar. We're going to taste through each of these cups and understand the differences in taste balance and also flavor. Okay, so before we start, I want to talk just briefly about the coffee so we know what we're working with and what the characteristics are going to be like. So Ethiopian wash coffee, just normal processing. So citrus, stone fruits, florals. Going to be usually very silky, and hopefully we'll get that citrus nice and round, but keep those clean, smooth, silky mouthfeel as well, not pushing into floral tannins. So we're going to taste through the different pressures and understand how that affects this particular coffee. So starting off with the 7 bar pressure. Okay, so very bright. That citrus quality is a little on the sour side. So it's more of a sharp citrus. It's almost like a basic lemon citrus. Tasting like we're not extracting enough out of the coffee. Texture's a little bit thin as well, and this is giving a little bit of dryness in the back of the palate. So let's have a look at 8 bar, stepping it up. So sweetness stepped up a little bit. The acidity is a little bit less sour, but it is still sour. Still touch thin. Got a little bit of dryness in the back of the palate. Just the way it finishes isn't so sweet. So still tastes like we're a little under with this coffee. Need to push it a little bit harder to get more sweetness, more roundness on the palate. So we're gonna push 9 bar now. Okay, so rounder, much rounder. The acidity is more integrated. It's more of like a marmalade-y, like a more jammy orange quality. Definitely more integrated into the acid. Texture's filled out more, it's got more creaminess. The peach quality is a little bit riper, a little bit sweeter. And we're getting that floral quality fully developed. It's not pushing tannic, but it's nice and sweet. So this coffee's got really nice balance from what I'm seeing. So finally, we're gonna go up to the 10 bar. Okay, so acid has gone down. We don't have a lot of vibrancy in the front of the palate. So that citrus note has gone a bit heavier. It's gone more bitter. So it's more in that kind of grapefruit element. The texture is no longer smooth. It's a little bit rough on the palate. For this particular coffee, I need some of that vibrancy up front to give us a smooth transition through the palate. But here, that's helping me with the lower acid, see more tannin. So the floral qualities are not smooth. It kind of grips on the way out of the palate. Not a fully rounded, balanced espresso. It feels like we're just pushing this coffee a little bit too hard. So I want to definitely pull back from a 10 bar extraction. So we can see here, there's a bit of a tendency. Lower bar pressure is giving us more brightness. It's tending to be a little sour. We've purposely kept the roast degree on the lighter side with this particular coffee because we don't want to cover up those beautiful, delicate citrus and floral characteristics from varietal and terroir. Okay, so we've run these different bar pressures. Now we're going to experiment a little bit with the pre-infusion and what that effect is going to be on the cup. So I'm going to start off with the control. Always want to have a reference point here. So doing that normal 9 bar extraction with no pre-infusion. All right, so next shot, we're going to do 3.5 bar pre-infuse for 5 seconds and then ramp up to 9 bar. So flow looks a little bit different. It's definitely a little faster at the beginning. So even though we're 9 bar pressure for most of the extraction, we should get a different result. All right, paddle again, and we're gonna go 3.5 bar. I'm gonna go 7 seconds. Straight up to 9 bar. So slightly faster at the beginning again. Okay, so now we're going to taste the difference between these 3 different levels of pre-infusion. So, no pre-infusion first. So like I said before, quite round, quite smooth. So now we're going to go to the 5-second pre-infusion. So a little bit heavier, a little bit richer. The texture's a little more full. I actually really like this espresso. It's a little bit sweeter as well. And we just have this more sweet floral quality on the finish. Rather than being more almost tea-like, it's pushing into the delicate, almost like a honeysuckle quality. 7 seconds. So even though the overall shot time was slightly shorter, I do have an even heavier expression again. For me, it's gone a little bit deep and dark. I've lost some of the lighter colors, some of the lighter colored stone fruits and citrus. It's gone a little bit heavier, and this is also bringing out a little bit of roughness and a little bit of tannin in the florals. So for this particular coffee, I'm actually really liking that 5-second, 3.5 bar pre-infuse. For me, this is the most balanced espresso of the day, and that's a really easy profile that I'm gonna now set up in the machine. Now, if you've taken a little bit longer to decide whether that's the right profile for you, after each shot, you can easily just go back to your last shot you can see that profile, click down the bottom and select it as one of your lever profiles. Then go back into the recipes, select the arrow, scroll down and find all your profiles that you've set before. So as you can see, beautiful little machine, all the flexibility that we want with the paddle, and we can demonstrate really easily side by sides, do a lot of tasting and understand how to get the best out of this particular Ethiopian wash coffee.